Hi, everyone,
Hello and welcome to.
fuck you. I knew you were going to do that, you bastard. It's a good job that we don't actually do this for a living, because that is how you immediately demonetize a video, what I just did. But has that monetized anyway? So it doesn't matter. Welcome to episode 296 of the Matt West podcast, which I've just realized in my notes says 295. I'm Jack, as always, joined by Casey.
No.
So how's it all going, mate? All good?
Yeah, I mean, I've been waiting to extract that revenge for several days now. So,
You see, you couldn't have waited to extract revenge before the Blackburn game so I could use it as a way to go. Speaking of extracting revenge, Leeds flavour. Come on, man. You know this.
No, I'm blinded by this at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll just get straight into it, because truth is, this will be probably quite short. I've got a shitload of stuff to do today. Derby 0, Leeds 1. In terms of the balance of the game, Leeds miles better throughout the entire game. But it did go late enough that you started to think maybe this isn't going to happen.
Yeah, this one under loads of possession, not many clear-cut chances.
I disagree. I thought that we had more than enough clear-cut chances to win this game.
I thought
Joseph won that forced a decent save in first half. I thought it was a pretty good chance. I mean, hell, Dan James came on and 20 seconds later had the best chance of the game.
They did it right, Dan James.
Yeah.
If only someone had given him another opportunity about 15 seconds later.
Yeah, he has proved that that's the way. God, I was going to say he just needs a redo and then he's all good. And then I nearly said, like in the show Bat Wheels, because my daughter watches that show and they have an episode like that, and that can't be a good sign.
No, you don't even have a daughter.
Yeah, or a TV. It's not even a show. I made it up.
It's taken a very strange start as this podcast.
Yeah, but no, I thought Leeds were pretty good early on. Like, we've had a lot of slow starting away games, and in this one, it wasn't amazing, but I thought that we got on top straight away, kind of went at them early. I thought Nonto had a really good opening, like 20 minutes. And he didn't really get the reward for it, but it was much better than his previous few appearances.
Yeah, like you say, I think sort of from the off we were straight into them, which is good, because I think there's always the worry for us is always it only takes one chance to score against Leeds. I can
say, I will mention now, because we'll probably forget, they had one chance. Melier saved it. Good, that's all we want from you.
And 2 weeks running as well, because the Stoke game where, like you say, they had that chance in the opening minute or so. He made the save. Probably should have made the save, but it's the fact it's happening. Grand.
Yeah.
I didn't think a right lot to Derby throughout this. Very similar to the game at Ellen Road, to be fair. I didn't think a whole lot to them. They are... I know there was talk of their height. They're quite a broad team. Like, even their wingers seem to be absolutely built.
Yeah, has Mason Clark always been 6 foot wide? Massive dude.
Yeah. And God, they certainly came in with a plan, and that plan was, we're going to kick Ethan Ampadu.
I did it again, didn't I? I called him Mason Clark. I'm mixing up all the double-barreled surnames. Mendes Lang is what I mean.
Yeah.
Having mixed him up with Ruben Noble Lazarus earlier in the season. I think it's because, and I don't remember his name, but I think I've got a aversion to double-barreled surnames in football, because wasn't Histon's goal scorer one of them?
Oh, I don't even remember.
I think that they had like 3 of them, and I think that's probably why.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't think much of Johnson Clark-Harris up top for them.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
No, like you say, they did what a mid-table team will do when they're playing one of the top end teams. They are going to break up play. It just so happened that they seemed to focus their efforts on Ethan Ampadu.
Yeah, they didn't like him very much.
No, he obviously the yellow card is shown for the kick to the face, which is, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, it's one of them that it's probably, like, you can argue it's a red card. I wouldn't want to, because I don't think there was any force in it, and it wasn't, and it was led with the top of the boot rather than the stud. So I'm actually fine with it being a yellow, because I don't, even though it was high, I don't actually think that was dangerous. I don't think there was any chance of anyone getting seriously hurt from that. So I'm fine with a yellow. But in the Premier League with VAR, there's a very decent chance that becomes a red.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was malicious either.
Yeah.
It was, albeit a stupid attempt to play the ball with your foot, considering at one point your leg was on Ampadu's shoulder. But yeah, I mean, he had also fouled Ethan Ampadu not 30 seconds before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like very similar to Preston, in as much as they were going to break the game up as much as they could and try and stifle us. But I just didn't think they offered quite as much going forward as Preston did. And I don't think Preston offered a lot.
No, well, I mean, they had that one shot on target that I mentioned before. And it's not like they had a really good chance go just wide or something that I can think of either. So, like, it was a very, like, defensively, no arguments. I managed to get it up. Well, you were nice. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I managed to get the more detailed statistics up while you were talking. I mean, I do get it up while you're talking, but that's just because I'm looking at your face. The XG was 2.4 to 0.2. So, like, can't really argue with that. It's a pretty good, solid performance. Obviously, we've mentioned Nonto's start, and he had a pretty good game. The other changes, we had Ramazani come in for Solomon on the left, Nonto on the right. We had Joseph come in for Peru up top, and we had Tanaka back in for Joe Rothwell in midfield. I don't think that any of them. I don't think any of those changes made that much of a difference to the overall level of the side. But I don't think any of them also screamed, "You have to start me next time."
Yeah, I very much feel like we're going to be in this random pattern at this point of will Joseph or Peru start this one? It doesn't strike me that one of them's going to go on a run of form that's going to go, no, I am your striker now.
I mean, in terms of the actual goal scoring, you could argue Peru is already in that.
Yeah, but even then, it's an odd one with Peru. But I think the one you certainly can't argue with when you're playing this many games in, what was it, 5 games in 2 weeks or something like that.
Something like that.
When you've got the wide options that we do, it makes all the sense in the world to use them.
Yeah.
So, I think when we spoke about it, I was maybe a little bit surprised that Dan James dropped out just because I thought he'd had a really good game against Stoke. But
yeah, I was the same. I didn't expect that one.
But like I say, when you've got Nonto and Ramazani, who were on the bench last week or last game starting this one, you can't really argue when you've got that depth.
Yeah. I didn't expect Ramazani to start this, but especially now we've got the 3 points, I'm glad he did, because it will have done him good to get 70 minutes into his legs. Because since the injury, he hasn't had more than sort of 20 in a game. Yeah, and he wasn't in the form that he was before the injury, but he played fairly well. He is another one that forced Zetterstrom into a decent save. That was the really unorthodox save where he was like running across and ended up sort of flapping it away. But that was pretty good. And I thought that Tanaka and Ampadu as a midfield pair was pretty good, which doesn't surprise me. I still think in theory, that's his best midfield. We haven't seen enough of it to know that for certain, but
yeah,
I thought Tanaka was good, and I thought Ampadu was excellent, to be honest. I thought, looking back on it, I think Ampadu was my man at match.
Yeah. I'd be interested. I think looking at the partnerships, I think the thing I would probably like to see is, I think the majority of the time you're right. I think it will be Ampadu and Tanaka, and then I think when you're playing someone lower down the table, definitely Ellen Road. That's probably when you'd want to see Rothwell come in for one of them and have that slightly more attacking option. But yeah, I try to think now through a man of the match, because I thought this was another case of everyone played well without them having to be outstanding.
A lot of 7.5.
Yeah, like a away win against a team you should beat, because away wins are possible now. We fixed that. We fixed the championship.
Yeah. Of course, you'd say now Leeds are going to be at home next game. You're bound to say away wins are very possible now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to think through the team. But I mean, the back four had you'd probably say had a fairly comfortable night. I'm trying to think of anything in particular. Like it was a quieter game from Bogle, but
yeah, but it was bound to be quieter than the last game. He was outstanding in the previous one.
And also, I suppose he was probably partnered up with someone who tends to stay higher up the field than Dan James does, so isn't quite afforded the opportunity to get forward as much. I think Joseph, again, for him, another night of it maybe being a little bit quiet, but when he's brought into it, I think his decision making is generally quite good. I think I said to you on the night, I think it's getting to the point now where I just don't really know what kind of striker he is yet.
Yeah, he needs time. There's definitely a good striker in there. And the weird thing is, like, his finishing right now isn't looking too great because he just don't look sharp in front of goal. But he always, before, like, I know it's a completely different level of pressure, but he always looked a good finisher and, like, quite calm in front of goal in, like, the 21s, as he does for Spain. So I'm hoping that'll come with a bit of confidence. But the subs, which, you know, is often in a game that leads out winning, it's often the criticism of Farke. They really worked this time. It was 71 minutes, you know, as you'd expect. But in fairness to Farke, he had been trying to make them for 5 minutes. The ball wouldn't go out, and then when it did, Pascal Strout took a quick throw in.
And I think we conceded 2 free kicks where we were defending from the edge of our box as well in that time, didn't we? So you weren't making the changes then.
Yeah, but the ones you'd expect: Peru for Joseph, Solomon for Ramazani, James for Nonto, and they did it did work undoubtedly. I mean, it was almost immediate. Solomon put Dan James clean through on goal, and he should. I know he's just on the pitch, but he should score that. Really, it's a poor finish. It's straight down the middle.
Yeah, he just needs to pass it into a corner, and I think it's 1-0.
Yeah, but you know, again, it shows the threat that he got, and it's a really good ball from Solomon. Again, by the way, with his weak foot. Because all bar one really good thing he's done in a Leeds shirt has been with his weak foot. I think he might be left-footed and not realise at this point. But then Leeds score what, for my money, is our goal of the season. 20-odd passes, just playing it around, dragging them around all over. Eventually comes to Byram on the left, plays it into Solomon, turns, good ball into Peru. Perfect layoff for Aronson, who's timed his run brilliantly. He's like 3 yards onside. It's also a really good sign for Aronson that he's got the energy to still be making those runs 80-odd minutes into a game where he's the one that's played just about every minute. And Aronson, having snatched at one in the first half, it was a bouncing ball. Really good finish, takes it perfectly. This was a really fantastic goal, and it's one of them that gets better every time you see it. A bit like Peru's finish against Stoke Gets better each time you see it. This was that, but for a passing move.
Yeah, it was a really nice period of just retaining possession in another team's half and just waiting for the spaces to open up. Like, again, nice for Peru to have another goal involvement off the bench. I will say listening after the game as well, because I had to get away a bit earlier than you guys, so I caught part of Farker after the game.
Yeah, you were off pretty much straight after full time, weren't you?
Yeah, Farker was speaking very highly of Brendan Aronson. In terms of, it was very much the case of, yes, we know he can press, yes, we know he has a lot of energy. But yeah, like you say, it was really nice to see a composed finish like that, because we are still at the point with Aronson where, when presented with a chance like that, there is every chance he's hitting it straight at the keeper.
Yeah.
But yeah, took his moment really well. It's still the one position where I think going into January I would really like to see us get a bit of cover, but he does seem to have the legs to just keep playing every week.
Yeah, I would ask that now. This is, it's the day before the window opens. This is probably the day to ask it. Do you think, because we always have it as, I'm assuming we had it as one of his questions this year, because we always do.
We did, yes.
Yeah, will Leeds make a first team signing in January? We all went for yes, except for Benny, who went for no. Connie specifically said yes, but it'll be a loan.
I'm just trying to think. So, because I'm guessing it was after we made those predictions, that's when we started to see, like, I think Tanaka will have come in after that. Ramazani will have come in.
Tanaka was deadline day.
Yeah.
So we did this before the first game. So we did this before quite a lot of the signings, but we also did this before we lost Rutter and things like that.
I was just having a look now just to see who actually ended up coming in after we would have done that. But yeah, I certainly think from us making those predictions, the squad definitely got strengthened.
Yeah. We also, for instance, we fully expected Verba to go at that point.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
So yeah, like after we made those predictions, that's when we got Ramazani, Tanaka in. I suppose you can throw Isaac Schmidt into that list as well, but
who's that?
And obviously Guilavogui, who I like his record now that he's the first player to win all of his first 8 appearances.
Yeah.
I would be interested to see the total minutes of those 8 appearances, but you can only do the job you're given.
I mean, it's at a maximum.
Has he played half?
I reckon he's played 45. I reckon he's played about an hour. But like, it might be less than that.
Yeah. It's so yeah, the squad is definitely strongest since we made those predictions. But I do think, I do think you look and think, well, if there was the opportunity there to sign another fullback, it would probably.
I don't know if transfer marks includes stoppage time, and I don't think it does. So they've got it as 46 minutes. But there's the game against Derby, they've got him down for literally 1 minute. And he came on in the 92nd, so this probably does include stoppage time. So yeah, he's played a half of football.
Yeah. I think at the moment, if you were to tell me we would sign a backup fullback, I would be all right with that, because I do think with a number 10, it's very hard to get a backup number 10, especially at this time of year. because I think there is such a premium on them that realistically you're looking at someone either from a team that, you're looking at probably trying to get someone who either has 6 months left on their contract or a League One player. Because I think what you would be spending from a decent Championship club or low end Premier League club where someone's not getting the minutes, I think it would just be too costly.
Yeah, like obviously there's that dream I have of McAtee, but one, that won't happen. That wouldn't happen unless we got promoted anyway. And two, someone higher up the food chain will buy him anyway. He also played in the last Man City game and looked really good, so he might even get a chance now. We will ring up Villa and ask about Buendia.
But Parker's putting on a fake accent.
Yeah, but I can't see it happening. The only other name that came into my head was like David Brooks, but I think he's playing a bit too much at Bournemouth.
Yeah, so I saw him playing at the weekend. Like I said, it's a really tough position to buy for, and especially when it's going to be someone who will be a backup to Brendan Aronson, because I can't see him playing this much football up to this point of the season, and then being told, actually, we've got someone else now.
Yeah. No, so I basically, unless someone major goes out, I think we're not going to sign anyone. Joffrey will go out on loan and hopefully play every week somewhere, and that'll be about it, really.
I hope he finds a forever home.
Oh, well, there's still a bit of me going, I want his forever home to be here. But I just can't see it at this point.
No.
So, yeah, tomorrow, that put us 2 points clear at top of the league because we were the only team in the top 8 to win, which is always good. Blackburn at home tomorrow. In my head, Saturday, 3 o'clock. I know it's not Saturday, but it is in my head.
Tuesday, 3 o'clock. No, Wednesday. There's Wednesday even. I don't know.
Yeah, today's Tuesday.
Fucking holidays.
Yeah. Verba is back in training. He did train before the Derby game, but wasn't ready to be involved, and probably won't be ready to start this, but may well be back on the bench. My main thing selection-wise is I think the sort of attacking changes will revert. I think Peru comes back in, Solomon back in, James back in. And then it's just whether he actually wants to rotate Aronson for one of these 5 games. In which case it'll be non-toe, but I think Aronson will just start.
I mean, just looking through now, I'm just trying to see what games we've got until we've got 2 more games, then it's the FA Cup.
We've got New Year's Day and then Hull on the 4th. And then it's a week to the FA Cup, and then I think it's another week after that.
Yeah, I can see Aronson playing both these next 2 league games and then sitting out against Harrogate.
Yeah, not even being on the bench against Harrogate. Just right, you have some time off now.
Yeah, get yourself to Germany. Go see your friends. I don't see the scenario in which unless he is injured out of nowhere, that he doesn't start against Blackburn.
Do you think it's still Tanaka and Ampadu, or do you think Lothwell comes back in?
Yeah, I think he sticks with those 2. You're playing a team that's at the higher end of the table. So
hopefully they've organised with Mr. and Mrs. Tanaka as they were over for the game. Did you see Tanaka's mum and dad in the away end?
No.
Oh, no, yeah, they're in the away end. And it has been checked by Graham Smith. It wasn't just a random Japanese couple and people assumed. It really was his mum and dad. But yeah, I think...
Were they sat there were they stood there by any chance going, it's actually Ao, not AO?
It's not AO.
Just want to put that out there, guys.
Yeah, out there. The one big concern, I say big concern for the wrong phrase. Sam Byron's played like 180 minutes in 3 days.
Yeah.
So, and Verber's not going to be ready to start, and Firpo's out. And like, I would play Schmidt for a game, but I assume it's just going to be Byron.
In an ideal world, I would stick with Byron for this one and then play Schmidt against Hull.
Play Verber against Hull. He'll be back fit.
He'll be fitted up by then. Yeah. Oh God, bless him. Yeah, I can't see him again out of nowhere just going, Isaac, come here. You're in. Don't mess it up. And then expect Tejas click at Cardiff.
Yeah, for Blackburn, they've got a few out. Obviously, Scott Wharton's been out for like the whole season. He was before. That Sigurdsson that isn't that one is out. Lewis Travis is out. Harry Pickering's out. They, just like before, they haven't. The team doesn't look that amazing, but they've got some good players. Ainsley Pears, who I've never thought is that good a goalkeeper, is having a really good season. Owen Beck at left back. He played left wing against us, didn't he? When they won 1-0. They pushed him forward into a more attacking role so they could play a different left back and move Tyrese Dolan over to the right. As that worked, I would sort of assume they're just going to do that again.
Yeah, I thought Blackburn were quite well structured against us at Earwood Park, and I thought they did a pretty good job of getting in quickly on the transition and sort of finding the shape fairly quickly. So I don't think there's a lot they need to change going into this.
Yeah, I'm just looking at their team actually from that game. And I think most of it will stay the same because they had Pears in goal, which I think will stay the same. Britton at right back, Dominic Hyam and Danny Bart at centre back. They did have Harry Pickering at left back, and he's injured. So they might have to play Owen Beck at left back.
Yeah.
They were Tronstadt and Lewis Travis in midfield, and Travis is injured. And according to the predicted lineup, with Travis injured, the expected player to come in is Lewis Baker, who I didn't even know was there.
Yes, he is. He moved this summer.
Yeah, but
he's failed his way up.
Yeah, I mean, he started their last 2 games, so I assume he'll stay in by the looks of that. And then they had Dolan on the right, Beck on the left, Cantwell behind Ohashi. It sort of depends, because they've got that Cozier Dubry that's on loan from Brighton. He was a kid at Arsenal and they nicked him, and we were linked to him a little bit. If Dolan plays on the left, it'll be him on the right by the looks of it. But I don't know if they have another left back that can play if they want to double up on that side and still play Beck. Having a glance down their squad list, nothing's jumping out as another left back option that's really a left back option.
No, I'm not going to lie.
It might be Beck back to left back in that case.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. When you look at the fact that we couldn't win at Earwood Park, but Hull did, is slightly upsetting.
Yeah, but John Eustace is only magic against Leeds. Is it 4 in a row he's beat us 1-0?
Yeah.
Obviously, early this season, that awful game back end of last season, the Birmingham game at the start of last season, when he was their manager.
You can't
sacked him for Rooney. Hilarious. And I think there might have been one before that as well. So yeah, Leeds don't so much have a bogey team as a bogey manager at the minute.
Yeah, it's a weird time. The Championship's a weird place.
Yeah. Despite that bogey manager, the predictions have come in and they're just as confident as they have been recently. Obviously, everyone got 2 points except me, who was just going, this is going to be our stupid one. last week, and it wasn't, which I'm happy about. But Benny 3-0, Alex 3-1, Connie 2-0.
Yeah,
I think I've got 2-0 as well.
I'm gonna go 1-0.
1-0 win. Cool. Yeah, I don't like us all being this confident. I never have, but like we've won us last 8 home games. We've barely conceded a goal in that. It's hard to argue with it at the moment that we shouldn't be confident. The only reason that we've even got any doubt is because Leeds being Leeds.
Yeah, it's always going to be there that at some point we've got to lose a home game. We just have to.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that I think we've gone through what we think the changes will be. So yeah, I think we'll go back to what you'd probably say is his first choice front line at the minute. The only doubt I've got is how tired Aronson might be, and if he is, maybe Nonto at 10, which would be fun. But
yeah, but
Aronson just appears to be at home all day, every day, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, he came off in the 92nd minute, so good rest.
Yeah,
He's fine now.
Yeah. So yeah, that will do us for episode 296 of the Mighty Lights podcast. We'll be back. I don't know, one of the second or the third, but I've no idea when that time will be because I think we're both at work then, but I'm done early both days, so there should be some time.
I'm going to say the third.
Cool, third. So yeah, that will do us. I've been Jack. See ya.
I've been Casey. Have a